All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our revolution against obesity. So I'm so excited about this call. The people that are going to be talking are passionate nurses and nurse practitioners from all over the country who are taking a stand against obesity. And we all know America needs that desperately. So I love this topic, the nurses fighting obesity, because that's exactly what we need. And we'll be going through how you can join the movement by possibly becoming a health coach yourself with Take Shape for Life. So my story is I am a nurse, registered nurse, and I've been nursing for 3 years. I've had my license for 3 years. And a year ago, I decided to quit my nursing job. I realized, after doing it, that it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought. I didn't have as much time freedom as I imagined I'd have. I wasn't making as much money. And I realized when I was there, and I hope this doesn't come across as offensive, but I kind of felt more like a slave and a waitress than someone that was giving people health and freedom and hope. So I realized, I was doing health coaching on the side and thought, wow, this is way more fulfilling than I thought it would be. And I realized I was making more per hour as a health coach than I was a nurse. I thought, well, maybe let's try this out. And so I quit the nursing job and have never looked back since. And I've finally found that that fulfillment in helping people find their health and their freedom and that abundance instead of just giving them medications or whatever and never seeing if they got better. And so I'm excited to hear from other nurses and nurse practitioners, and we'll be going through those stories. So here we go. So we're going to take a poll. This is kind of fun. It's what was your original motivation to become a health professional? So you have a few seconds just to kind of click on which one. Might be to help people be healthy, make a difference, the idea of a flexible career, other. And then also, after starting your career, did reality match up to your expectation? All right, we'll just wait a little bit and see what everyone's answers are.
Okay, we're gonna end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, looks like 50% was help people be healthy. That was the biggest one. They make a difference in the idea of a flexible career and other. So that's awesome. It's interesting. It looks like most people are just purely passionate about helping people get healthy. That's great. All right. Okay, just kind of going through America, our story. So 68% of adult Americans are overweight. That is insane to me. That's what really caught my attention as a nurse and just wanting to help people get healthy. 35% are obese and 17% of kids are obese. And so, as you know, I'm sure everyone here knows someone that is diabetic, whether it's a friend or a family member. And more than 400,000 deaths every year are correlated to weight. And then just more statistics are USA, 5% of the world population. Out of them, 50% of them are on prescriptions. And that is actually the 4th leading cause of death, which is crazy. And as far as American costs, we're going through $175 billion annually because of obesity. And, people are living longer. That's great, but what's our goal here? Their quality of life is lower, and we want to raise that. So this is really interesting to see. Over 3 years that I've been a health coach, I've seen amazing results and people change. So when you do get healthier, depression goes down, your asthma goes down, GERD, degenerative joint disease, gout. I'm just going through all these migraines. 57% of migraines are resolved just by losing weight. That's so exciting. And metabolic syndrome, PCOS, and of course your quality of life is going way higher. So as nurses, these are important things, and if we can treat that with helping them get healthier and seeing all these results, it's very exciting. You're adding a lot to people. So let's go on in this next poll. From your observations of patients on a daily basis, obesity is a huge problem or not a big deal? This is kind of a fun one. I think when I started being a health coach, then I realized how many people around me needed help. Okay, all right. Kind of as expected, 92% said that it was a huge problem. So we all know people that are needing to lose weight. Okay, and Gretchen is going to be sharing her story. I'm excited to turn the time over to you, Gretchen.
Okay. Yeah, just like Curly said, like, I think we all went into nursing because we wanted to help people. You know, I went into nursing because I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And I was a labor and delivery nurse. I loved it, but I hated the shift work. I hated all that. So fast forward, I went to NP school. I did that too, and I love being NP. But let's talk about my weight loss first, then we'll talk about that. So I have 5 children. I have a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 4-year-old, and 2-year-old twins. And after the birth of my 2-year-old twins, I found myself 65 pounds overweight, miserable, tired, couldn't get out of bed in the morning, didn't have the energy to keep up with my kids. I just felt miserable. And I found this program, and fast forward 9 months later, I'm down 65 pounds. I feel great. I have energy to be that mom I want to be. It just totally changed my life, my health. My husband lost 50 pounds. My kids are eating much healthier. It's just totally changed our family. So I decided to pay it forward and become a health coach, and that has really changed our lives too. And like I said, I wanted to be an MP because I liked helping people in that very personal one-on-one way, and I enjoyed it. But when I have a husband with a very demanding job that he loves, but when I'm an MP, I have 20 patients scheduled to see me in a day, and I can't call in sick to work. So one of my kids would get sick. It would become very stressful about who was going to watch the kid and how that was going to work, and it just was really hard. And so we made a decision about 3 years ago that I would just stay home because it was just too hard on our schedules. Well, fast forward 65 pounds later, after losing all this weight and finding this amazing program, I decided to become a health coach, and I have found it to be so fulfilling. And it helps people in a way that I went to NP school to help people, but instead of putting people on medicine to help their blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, I'm now helping people eat well, and through nutrition, taking them off their medicines for diabetes, depression, cholesterol problems. And that's even more motivating. So it's really changed our lives. It's changed my health. And I just love helping people get healthy. So thanks, Curly.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Gretchen. All right. So Carrie Ann, are you there? Do you want to explain this one?
So I, as well, am a registered nurse, and kind of like Gretchen, I was a nurse, not a nurse practitioner. I worked in labor and delivery, and I loved a lot of things about it. But it was really hard for me to work nights and have just the crazy schedule of a nurse. You know, you were working weekends, you're working holidays every time that my husband wasn't working. And that was just hard on me. And I struggled working nights. Just kind of felt like I was never all the way there, even when I was awake. And so when the opportunity of health coaching came up, I felt like I've been so blessed to take on this opportunity because now I'm able to work from home, and I get to see my husband when he's home from work and really be able to focus on the things that matter most to me in life, and being a good wife, and not just being half awake all the time and miserable and moody. And even though I loved the work I did as a nurse, I love what I do as a health coach as well, because instead of giving people medications and just taking care of them in a loving way, which I loved, but helps, I feel like what I do now helps people prevent going to the hospital and getting in the situations they were in that I was dealing with them. Just kind of helping people before they fall off the cliff, I guess, in a way. And I feel very fulfilled in doing it. So I'm just going to share a little bit about two of the key parts of our program here in Take Shape for Life that I think are amazing and set us apart. And one of those is education. We all, as nurses, and most people, I think, we all know what healthy things, like what is healthy, being healthy, what are healthy habits. We kind of could all name those off, but do we live them? I think for a lot of us, the majority of that answer would be no, at least for, maybe we have one of those healthy habits down or two, but not all of them. And I think this is where it comes in, is key, is trying to really put those healthy practices in making them habits. that we're actually living. And so our program was started by Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson. As you can see in the books here, he was a critical care physician for a lot of years, and very well known. And he kind of had just an epiphany one day that he was tired of helping people, like I said, kind of at the bottom of the cliff, and trying to help just keep them alive with all of their diseases and things. And he decided he wanted to change the world by helping prevent all of these diseases and help people have create health in their life instead of just barely staying above it. So he created this program, and he's written lots of books that we use called The Habits of Health. And then our certification as coaches comes from the McDonald Center for Obesity Prevention and Education, which is actually sponsored by Villanova School of Nursing. So it's the only obesity prevention program at a nursing school, which is really cool. And so this program is different from regular diets because we focus on the lifestyle and not just, losing the weight, but keeping it off and actually reaching for optimal health long term. And the second awesome key that we have is the support factor. I just want you to think really quickly, how many times have you made a goal in your life by yourself, and 2 weeks later, you realize you're not even keeping up with that goal anymore? I feel like that happens to me all the time. Most of my goals turn out that way. And I think that's why this support factor is so key, because it's hard to do hard things on our own. And so having a personal health coach to keep you going, as well as other forms of support, really helps the chance of success go way up. I mean, if you think of the days when you have ups, you're super motivated, you can do it on your own. But those down days are going to come, and that's when the support really comes in. And as you can see, we have a long list of support, and there's even more that's not on here. We have online health games, we have Facebook groups, we have support calls going on weekly, all sorts of things. And so that's where the success really comes in. I just had a client tell me today that she would say the number one factor that helped her be successful was the coach.
So this is me. My name is Lisa Barker. Excuse me. And when I was in nursing school, there were two things that I really struggled with. One was that as a nurse, I needed to be an advocate for health, and I really wasn't healthy. I'd go to my clinicals and I would pack a can of chili, and that was like all I ate during my 12 hours, besides some goldfish and a Dr. Pepper. Because you know how you can get Dr. Pepper at the IHC hospitals, or whatever soda you want. So the caffeine definitely helped me through those 12 hours. And another thing was that when I went to my med-surg clinicals during my preceptor, people in the hospital, I was blown away by how many people were there from preventable diseases like heart disease, edema, edema from whatever, high blood pressure and diabetes. And I was just like, I would go home and be like, wow, these people, like if they had just chosen to have a healthy lifestyle, they wouldn't be there in the first place. And now they're in this cycle where they're ending up in the hospital every few months because they can't get their health under control. And so I graduated in 2013, and I worked as a nurse for a little bit less than 2 years up in Logan at Access Home Care and Hospice. And I really enjoyed it. But then I had my son and switched to graveyards so that we could juggle our schedule with my husband being in school. And once I had my son, I realized that my priorities changed, and I really wanted to stay home with him, but I also felt like I needed to help contribute to our income. And this is also when I started my health journey, and I realized that I need sleep, and I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was getting like 3 hours of sleep a day. So I worked as a nurse for about 4 months while my son was born. And I can tell you, like, I'm going to cry because that was like the hardest 4 months of my life. I was so tired. I was trying to help out with Cub Scouts, but I couldn't even think straight. I was a basket case all the time. And and I just wanted to stay home with my son. It wasn't that I didn't want to help people as a nurse, because I did, and I felt very fulfilled doing my job, but I was tired and I wanted to stay home with my son. So fast forward, we moved to Provo. My husband's going to BYU now, and I was like, I'm done. I don't want to work. I want to stay home. And I watched my mom be very successful with the program and signed up as a health coach because I believed in it. I watched my mom do it, and she actually came off her depression medications. So anyway, I did the program after I became a health coach, and I've lost 25 pounds from my pre-pregnancy weight. So like, I can't even tell you how amazing that feels. Like, I'm in a smaller size. I feel more confident about myself. I don't have mood swings. I don't get hangry. I don't need naps. Well, now that I'm pregnant, I need naps. But before I was pregnant, I didn't need naps in the middle of the day. And working from home has been so fulfilling. So the thing is, the two things that I was concerned about during nursing school are things that I now am able to help with. One, I'm an advocate for health because I'm healthy myself. I know how to do that, and I know how to teach other people how to do that. And secondly, I'm helping people with these preventable diseases. One of my most exciting clients is my aunt. So we get to help people that we love and care about. So my aunt actually has had her A1C level drop by 0.2% since she started the program. She's lost 25 pounds, and she's not going to be diabetic anymore. Her blood sugars are staying level and even. And my goal is to earn as much money as I would working as a nurse. And the thing is, it's totally attainable, and I'm almost there. So I'm so excited. I feel so passionate about this, and I hope that some of you will be touched by this webinar and will join us on our mission to get America healthy.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm like all excited that I could totally hear your passion. So thanks for sharing that. That was really from your heart. So I love what I'm going to be talking about is the nutrition part of how we help people get healthy. And wouldn't it be nice to have a system to offer patients that's simple? So I have been very passionate about nutrition for a long time, and I have done several different methods to help people lose weight. And my first method was the most complicated thing possible, where I'm going to say, you're here at this health, and I want to get you here. So let's make a big leap and get you here right now and do all the habits required. When I did that with my clients, guess how much success I had? No success. My clients, they would try to do that. In the first about a week and a half, they were excited and they had the energy to make all these changes. But then they got burned out. And then when they got burned out and discouraged, they quit. And they thought, it's too hard for me to be healthy. So I knew I had to find a way that was very simple, that anyone could do it, even nurses that don't have time to be in their kitchen 4 hours a day. It's nice to have a system that's medically proven. I love that as a nurse. The science behind what we do has been around for 35 years. It has been tested, the R&D has been done by Johns Hopkins and the National Institute of Health. So they've, through medical tests, they say that it's safe and effective. And I love having that behind me. Goof proof, kind of what I mentioned earlier, it's simple enough for anyone to do. You don't have to have a ton of time on your hands and be super smart or whatever to be able to get healthy and lose weight. And another one that's not mentioned here is you've got to have results really quickly. And if you don't have results with losing weight, as most of you know, you get discouraged and you want to quit whatever you're doing because it's just not working. So you have to have a system that's simple. You have to have a system that is going to give you results right away to kind of show that you're doing the right thing and get you motivated and excited to keep going. I'll share this real quick. What I did was working with a client who had done every diet in the book for 5 years. She had never made it past 5 pounds. And she said the first week doing this plan, she had lost that 5 pounds. And she was ecstatic, so excited that something was finally working that she could handle. So, and the other thing is, it'd be nice if it was cost neutral, and this program is. So let's go to the next slide. We have a system that is. It's all about baby steps. It's going from here to here, but going baby step, baby step, baby step. And so I like to compare it to someone that's like addicted to cigarettes, they're down here. The ideal thing is to get them completely off up here and say, okay, snap your fingers, no more cigarettes. But how often does that happen? It's very rare that someone can actually do that. So we say, all right, so let's start reducing them and let's put a nicotine patch on you. Okay. And then they start making those baby steps until they can get to having no cigarettes at all. And that's our thing, is baby steps. And I'll teach you about that. We do a fat burn system of eating 6 small meals a day. So that's every 2 to 3 hours. So in the beginning, we have everyone make 1 meal a day. Very simple, not overwhelming, no burnout. And that's your lean ingredient, like this picture, vegetables and protein. So we get them addicted to protein, to vegetables again, which is exciting for them. And it will get them confident that they can make healthy food. They can find stuff for their family that they'll enjoy. And for the other 5 meals, we're going to use a secret weapon. And I'm just going to be transparent for you. At first, I was wondering about this as a nurse. So I'm going to teach about this. So what we use are meal replacements that have a perfect protein carb balance. And so the science behind that is we don't want your blood sugars going up and down every day. Because if they ever go too high, guess what happens with your insulin? It comes out and stores it as fat. And so if they're perfectly balanced, your blood sugar is going to be like this every day. You're going to feel good. And that insulin's never going to be coming out and storing things of fat. So you're going to be able to lose that weight. These meal replacements are, they're balanced perfectly to work with that insulin to get you into a fat burn. They protect your muscle as well because they're fortified with vitamins and minerals. So your muscles protected, your bones protected, and that's very important. So we'll get you into a nice fat burn where you're going to be burning 10 pounds of fat a month. And when that happens, your hunger goes down, and same with your sugar cravings. And those are 2 beasts in trying to lose weight. That's what a lot of people fight against. And we want to say, quit fighting against those. Quit counting your calories. Quit stressing about what you're eating, if it's the right thing or right amount. Just make it simple. And so we can start focusing on what Karen was saying, the emotional side of things, the long-term health benefits, or the long-term healthy habits, so that you can be healthy for long-term. So this is kind of the habits of health lifestyle. We're teaching people right from the beginning to eat every 2 to 3 hours. That's going to be what you're going to be doing lifelong. It's called intuitive eating. Eat when you're hungry. Stop eating before you're full. Okay, we're going to be teaching them how to deal with stress. Those emotional triggers. What do you do when you're stressed? What do you do when you're depressed? What do you do when you're bored? Let's start changing those triggers, or not changing the triggers, by identifying them and changing the routine in the middle. We're going to have them drinking more water. We're going to be having them we're going to teach them healthy sleep. And that all affects your health long term. So all these habits are what we're going to teach them in the very beginning and then have them do long term. So we've got a beautiful maintenance plan where it's a simple transition where we're going to slowly say, okay, you're having this meal replacement, now let's make your own, because they're ready for that. They're excited about their health, they've got the energy, and then just more and more making your own until they're on their own and feeling awesome. So it's the most amazing meal plan I've ever seen that actually works and does it for the long term and helping people be successful. So, okay, Julia, would love to hear your story.
I'd love to share it. So I found this program about 4.5 years ago. I had my 4th baby. I was, sorry, I love to cry. Anyways, I was 25 pounds overweight and just starting to nurse. And, I probably drank too many milkshakes or something, but I always gained weight when I lost it. Never melted off of me like a lot of you who would lose weight when you nurse. But anyway, so 25 pounds overweight, ready to start nursing a baby. And a bigger concern to me, was my left leg. And this was about 3 months, mind you, after I delivered my baby. 3 months later, I still had 4+ pitting edema in my left leg, not in my right leg. As a nurse, I'm freaked out. I thought, I don't think I can have another baby. I'm going to have to wear these TED hose, whatever, for the rest of my life. Luckily, I found a friend who was able to help me get started on this weight loss program. I did the Nursing Moms program and I lost 25 pounds in 2.5 months. I was so excited. And my swelling went down, and I've had another baby since. I did the Nursing Moms program again. I lost 25 pounds again, and I've never had a problem with my leg again. And I'm sure a big part of that was I've never been a good water drinker. And I one of our healthy habits we talk about is drinking water, and it's been huge for me. So anyway, that's been a big blessing. And there's a picture of me being healthy, or a picture of my little sister and my mom. And, there's a lot of blessings that have come from me making the choice to become a health coach. It's funny because I actually decided to be a health coach when my husband was in the middle of residency. And I hope you guys, I'm sure you nurses can appreciate this, but be nice to your resident doctors. He was gone 80 to 120 hours a week. He was gone all the time. I had my 4 kids, and I didn't have any time. And I thought being a health coach is the last thing I wanted to think about doing. But a year after I lost my weight and I kept it off and people were asking, I said, you know what? I really, really believe in this program and people need it. And I guess I just as well help them. And so I started to help a couple of my friends. That very month, we had $2,000 on a credit card that I actually didn't know how to pay it off. I thought, man, this is going to be embarrassing. I have to call my dad and borrow some money. Luckily, that same month, I started health coaching and I brought home a check for $2,000. It was a blessing. Other blessings and fun things I've enjoyed about being a health coach. I've gone on trips. I've gone on incentive, all-inclusive, whatever, paid trip for me and my husband to Aruba, to Cancun, to the Hotel del Coronado. Like, it's been fun. I've met a ton of really amazing friends. As you can see, all these people we're talking with, I just love each of them, and it's such a blessing to know them. This is a little bit of a selfish reason, but it has really helped me to stay healthy. I've loved being able to keep my weight off. I'm sure I'm certain, even though I know better, I would be back 30 pounds overweight if I didn't have the support that I have and the accountability I have from being a health coach. A lot of people might be stronger than I am, but it's been a big blessing for me. Another thing I love about coaching, and one of my big whys, I guess, I don't know if you can see in this picture, my oldest daughter has Down syndrome, and she's 10 years old. And she's amazing, and she's a huge blessing in my life. But as you all know, children with Down syndrome have a greater propensity towards weight gain. And so I want to be equipped and able and ready to help her when I need to step in, and I want to help her throughout her life starting now. Another thing, my little sister, I have really, really loved being a health coach, and for all these reasons, but a new thing that's just started, my sister, she's in the SVU football shirt here. Her husband's a football coach in college, and he lost his job a couple months ago, about 8 months ago, at which point she came to me and said, Julia, I need to do something. I have 5 kids. I have a house, and we don't have a job. And I said, okay, join this party. It's really fun, and you're going to love it. And she has started, and she makes enough to pay her house, feed her family, and do everything. And so it's such a blessing for me to be able to see that I can actually, in a sense, assist in somebody's financial struggles. I mean, it's such a blessing. And people who even maybe need an extra couple $100. I remember thinking in residency, if I could just take home an extra $100, that would be awesome. Another part of my family, my mom, she lost 40 pounds or something right before she turned 70 and went and celebrated in Europe, which was really cool. One last little story is just I love, like, the whole reason I went into nursing school, that panel asked, why did you become a nurse? And I love health. I'm fascinated by health and the human body. And actually, the second question of that was, did it fulfill your dreams? I absolutely loved being a nurse. Yes, the answer to that was yes. I loved it so much. But I love that I get to continue doing that, in a sense, on my own time and from my own home and from the park or wherever I might be waiting in the car for piano lessons. And anyway, I just got this reminder of a client of mine who he was overweight. He couldn't even really walk out to his backyard, to his shed, before the program. And he started the program one last try at being a healthy person. He lost 125 pounds. He got off all of his diabetes medications, his cholesterol medications. He went down to only a 5 milligram blood pressure pill, and his wife also joined him and lost 80 pounds. And he's off he has minimal asthma meds now as opposed to extensive. So I'm just thrilled that I still have that ability to be a nurse and be a health coach and be with my family and do all the things that I love. So that's my story. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you so much, Julia. That was so beautiful. Okay, our next poll is, what is the most difficult part of being a health professional for you? Swinging night shifts, not enough control over scheduling, feeling like you aren't making enough difference for patients. I love everything about it. So I'm excited to see what everyone puts. All right. Okay, it looks like the highest one was feeling like you aren't making enough difference for patients. That's interesting. Cool. And then everything was about the same, equal there. All right. Okay, coaching benefits. Are you going through this, Jan?
Yes, I would love to. Curtly, thank you so much for having me on the call today. I'll just introduce myself a little bit. My name is Jan Paxman, and I am also a registered nurse. And I remember back when I was just, my earliest recollection was probably 3 years old. Whenever anyone got hurt or banged up, I was the first one on the scene with the Band-Aids. I was always trying to fix it. And I just knew I was going to be a nurse. It was my dream. And so I went after it and I got it, and I was so excited about it, and I did love it. I do love it. I'm so proud of the profession. But I became disillusioned as I went through, and I worked in a lot of different areas. I started out in peds, then I went to mother baby, and then like some of the others that shared, I ended up in labor and delivery, and I loved it. But the nights, the weekends, the holidays just really took a toll. And I also felt really frustrated in that I would see so many people that just struggled with their life, their quality of life, because they were not living a healthy lifestyle. And that it seemed like whenever you were in a traditional medical setting, so much of it was symptom management, disease management, not enough about creating optimal health. So many scripts being written all the time. And then you'd have a script to cover the side effects of the first script. And it was just a cycle, and it drove me crazy. I think that's why we ended up in labor and delivery, because there's not as much of that going on. Maybe subconsciously we ended up there. But anyway, I found this program after I had had a baby and was struggling to get my baby weight off. And I found this program through a friend. I did my homework on it because, as nurses, we're careful. We want to make sure we're not getting into anything that's unhealthy. I decided to give it a try. It made sense to me. And I was amazed at how not only did I drop that baby weight and I felt amazing, but I'd also had a problem with chronic headaches, and I'd also had a problem with chronic candida. And those two issues completely resolved after about a month and a half. And I'm talking like years and years and years. I've been a nurse for over 25 years. And those issues that I had battled with and had been written prescriptions for and all kinds of issues about it, they were gone. And to me, that was significant. And so I continued on my journey. I have a large family. We have 8 children, a busy life. But I was able to replace my nursing income with coaching after about the first few months of health coaching. I didn't go back. It was fantastic. I could do it from home. And I've been coaching for 6 years, and now I have quadrupled what I was earning as a nurse in a hospital setting with this program. And it has blessed our lives, my family, myself, so much because of my ability to be home. And the most, rewarding part of it has been the people I've been able to serve. Watching these clients that come to me that struggle, and we're able to put them on a simple path. Just like Curtly said, it's very simple, it's very predictable. If they follow the program, it just walks them right through to an outcome where they are now empowered to have control over their health. And we work with physicians all the time. When we have clients that have medications, we're working with physicians, we're watching blood sugar, we're watching, blood pressure. We're making sure that those things are handled in a very careful manner that we get them off those medications, and we see them being able to move, being able to do things that they haven't been able to do for so long. We do see type 2 diabetes go out the window. We do see awesome things happen. It's wonderful. It really feeds that part of you that wants to serve and wants to become a nurse, or wants to be a nurse to be able to serve. And so, yeah, there's some definite wonderful advantages for being a health coach. Financially, it's obvious, I mentioned that. Reinforcing health for yourself and others, and it's just so fantastic. And leaving a legacy, you know, you make a difference in the world. It ripples out, and you get to see what you do that makes a difference. Sometimes when you're in a hospital setting, you never know what happens to that patient. This situation, you get to see long-term effects of what happens with that family. And I don't know if everyone else can see, but there's still the poll sharing results are on the screen. So I'm not sure if everyone out there can still see that or not, but they're not going. There they go. They're gone now. Awesome. Okay, so just going over this next slide, the qualifications to become a health coach is that you just need to be on the road of health yourself. You know, you lead with your own health, you move forward with your own health, and you model that. And then you just care about others, and that's a given, because as nurses, we're nurturers, and that's just a natural part of it. And you just need to be willing to learn the system, learn this program, and really, you know, you don't need to have experience, you don't need to be at your exact perfect weight or whatever. If this is speaking to you, then jump in. We need all the help we can get, and nurses make fantastic health coaches. So I'm just so grateful that I've been able to be on with all of these people. I have grown to love them and appreciate their examples in my life as well. And I'm telling you guys, it is a fantastic way to make a big difference in the world and help a lot of people get healthy. And that's why we became nurses in the first place, I believe. That's why I did. So thanks, guys, so much for letting me be a part of this.
Awesome, Jan. Thanks so much for sharing your story. You know, a lot of people, they ask, well, how am I compensated to be a health coach? And because, I mean, you're paid as a nurse. And of course, if you add value and help somebody with their health as a health coach, you'd be paid as well. So here is just some numbers that are helpful in knowing how you're paid. So at the base level, when you start as a health coach, you're basically paid per client, and your percentage increases as you help more and more clients. So for example, a health coach who's helping 5 to 8 clients is called a senior coach. And on average, a senior coach is making about $324 per month. And just time-wise, a lot of people ask, okay, well, how much time does it take in order to support a client? So on average, we say it takes about 1 hour per client per month. So if you were supporting 8 clients as a senior coach, then that would be about 8 hours per month. So maybe a couple hours per week to earn that extra $300+. And if you jump up to this blue line, an executive director, if you're helping 20 or more clients, then an average executive director with our company makes about $2,800 per month. And again, 20 hours per month in client support, which would average out to probably about five hours a week or so. And we also encourage just consistent training each week in order to make sure that your skills are sharp and that you're really knowing how to help people the best. So here's a funny thing that happens is that as you're helping people, some of your clients will want to pay it forward. Their family and friends are seeing them melt away because the program is so predictable. There is predictable transformation. As they follow it, they're going to melt away and get healthy. So everyone starts asking. So many of the clients, and also just other people, entrepreneurs, health professionals, personal trainers, love to become health coaches. So the company also compensates us to be leaders and trainers and to help other people to gain those skills and competencies to be able to become a health coach. So these coaches are people who are building teams of coaches. and passing on those skills. So, and these are average monthly numbers. So this is the fun part. Do you ever want to ask your friends how much money they make, but you think it's a little too awkward in order to do it? So I love webinars like this because I get to tell on my friends who are on and let you know what their ranks are. So I'm going to go back a slide. So the executive directors on the call are Carrie Ann Feller and Lisa Barker. So that, I'm telling you, I'm just sharing the secrets here. And also, let's see, we have Gretchen, who is also an executive director. Jan Paxman, who just shared her story, is a global director. Julia Olson, who shared before, is an integrated national director. And Kurt Lee is an integrated regional director. And my husband, Jared, and I are presidential directors. So these are just averages for our company. So I love that we're paid so well to be able to pay it forward, transfer skills, help people to keep their weight off and to really grow into something new. So just to close up, before I throw it back to Kurt Lee, I wanted to share my quick story. And today is, if you're watching playback, it might not be today anymore, but March 30th, this is actually 3 months for me, 3-month anniversary from when I had brain surgery. And it was kind of a shock to us because I've always, in the last 12 years since I lost my 35 pounds, I've really strived to be healthy. But sometimes things come up for you and health issues might arise that are not related to lifestyle. And so that's what my family and I were facing, was a brain tumor. And one thing that I can say is that I really appreciate the health professionals. I appreciate the medical system that we have in this country. And I appreciate what people can really do to be able to change the lives of people who are struggling with their health and struggling with whatever's coming their way. And I appreciated so much the nurses and the surgeons and everyone who helped me. And one thing I can say is when I went in for my checkup, my doctor said, "I can't believe how quickly you've recovered. I can't believe just how you're bouncing back." And he was asking me, "What's your secret?" And I said, "Well, of course, Take Shape for Life is my secret." And he said, "Absolutely. You're being healthy, you're being at such a healthy place in your life has contributed so much to you being able to recover." And so I think that if we can move this country from a place of reacting to disease to, oh, I have high cholesterol, here's a pill for that. Oh, I have diabetes, here's a pill for that. And move people and help them move into creating health, to preventing these diseases or reversing lifestyle diseases, then how much weight would be lifted off of our medical professionals, that they can focus on helping people that it's not lifestyle related. So that's what makes me so excited. I'm not a nurse. I'm the only one on the call who's not a nurse. I came from a different background, but that just shows that anyone can become a health coach. I used to make web pages and I was dang good at it, but I love this so much more. So I just wanted to share that and how Take Shape for Life has just changed my life in so many different ways, from helping me keep my healthy body to healthy mindset changes and growth to healthy finances. And so I'm going to throw it back to Kurt Lee now.
Thanks, Amber. And I just wanted to kind of wrap this up by thanking everyone that was on the call. I have been so inspired and just feel so much energy because of you guys. So thank you. And for those who are watching, thanks for taking the time to check this out and being interested in helping fight the obesity epidemic here. We need help. America needs your help. And like Amber said, nurses make great health coaches because you've got that passion for health. So if you're at all interested in learning more about how you can be involved, reach out to the person that invited you and schedule a time to chat with them and ask them a few questions. But it's worth your time. It's been the most beautiful thing that's really brought life to my already abundant life. So thanks for your time. Have a great day, everybody.